Hey everybody, Daniel Fusco here, and welcome to today's 2-minute message. So here we are, day 3 of our 4-day challenge that we're calling Take a Walk on the Wild Side. Now we've already seen that all of us have history. For some of us, it's wild history, but for all of us, it's our past, right? And so we have these wild pasts. But when we wildly abandon ourselves to Jesus, when we surrender ourselves, God does a work. But listen, if you have a wild past, and then you wildly abandon your past as you put your faith and trust in Jesus, then you get to follow Jesus, something that I like to call a wild adventure. I remember when I first put my faith and trust in Jesus, I was kind of worried because I had lived a pretty full and adventurous life, and I had this feeling that, man, when I put my faith and trust in Jesus, is things gonna get boring? Like, what, am I just gonna go to church all the time? I mean, like, what's life gonna be? And what I can tell you is that my life simply responding to Jesus and following Jesus has been way more wild and adventurous than it ever was before, because God is a wild God and He loves to do amazing things. And God, when we simply respond to Him and when we surrender ourselves to Him, He begins to invite us into amazing things. Now, I've had all sorts of experiences. I remember one time when I first started really following Jesus, I was playing music as a career, and I'll never forget because I was in a restaurant and I was playing a gig, and at the set break, I had always brought in my bag these Gospels of John, just like one little book of the Bible, because you meet people, and I'll never forget it. All of a sudden, this woman came up to me, and she said, "I need to know what you have, because I have never seen someone have the joy that you have." And I was like, "Excuse me?" And this woman was pretty inebriated at that moment. And I'm like, "Wait, excuse me?" She's like, "No, you have to tell me what's the secret, because I want what you have." And I remember sitting there just being like, that's crazy. And I started telling her, well, listen, I put my faith and trust in Jesus. And before I know it, this woman is pouring out her life, and she gave her life to Jesus right there at 11:30 at night in this restaurant after I got finished playing this gig. And what was really awesome is a number of years later, I ran into her at a church that I was teaching at, and she was still following Jesus. Now, it was just another gig. I'd been playing lots of those at that season of my life, but God invites you into these things that you look back and like, this is absolutely amazing. And that's just one of what would be thousands of stories I can tell you of just that one was from a gig, when I've been overseas, when I've been moving through my community, and all these different things. God has a wild adventure for each one of us if we would simply respond to Him and keep ourselves following after Him. So this is what we do. First, I want you to share this video because, listen, everyone's looking for adventure. I mean, you can go skydiving, you can do all these crazy things, or you can just follow Jesus and God will blossom His most wild adventures in your life and in your circumstances. And in the comment section, I want you to tell me some of the wild adventures Jesus has you on, situations you found yourselves in, things that have happened that blew your mind, that you're like, I can't believe I get to do this with Jesus. And we're going to get to share some of those stories of what God is doing in each one of our lives. And God bless you today.